friends, I'm back. So it is the weekend before I go back to work. The week before I go back to work, it is Saturday. So I have Saturday and Sunday off, and I'm going to do another reading vlog in my series where the picker wheel chooses my reading vlog concept. So I have a really hard time making decisions. I just do. It's not like my favorite thing to do. So I get really like indecisive once I have to choose a concept or something. But I have like a lot of concepts for reading vlogs and they're all concept themes. So I made a picker wheel and I'll show you guys, and then we're gonna have them choose the concept. So this is either gonna be like a 48-hour reading vlog where I try to read as many books before The Last of Us premieres on Sunday, which is at like 9, I think, or 10. If it's 10, I probably can't watch it, but if it's at 9, I can. Or I'm gonna make it like a week-long reading vlog where I come back next week and give you guys as many. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I just came off a really long book. I did put that on the spinning wheel, but basically I'm gonna let the spinning wheel choose. I have a lot of different concepts and ideas. I just literally just do a bunch of different types, and then I'll show you guys the spinning wheel so we can all be in agreement. And yeah, let it spin. And again, whatever this says, I have to do. So let's see. Ooh, books on my monthly TBR. Okay, so that is interesting because I didn't really read a lot of my physical books on my January TBR because I just got busy and I wound up reading a lot of like physical things. But I guess what I could do is I can go look at my like bullet journal and see what was actually on there because I just reset my TBR cart. So give me a moment and let me go get that because I honestly don't remember. I mean, I remember, but I changed everything on my TBR cart, so I don't actually know what was on that. So let me go get my bullet journal and then we'll chat. All right, so we do have quite a few that I didn't get to. I think I'm gonna pick up Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So let me go get that and then we'll chat about it. So I did get this when I went to Y'all Fest in November, and I do have an e-arc of it, which is good. And I really have liked her stuff. I read one book by this author and like loved it. So I hope that this has similar results. And yeah, I'm excited. It says, two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection. They must face steps of hell and a war among the gods to seal their fate forever. I love books about like gods and stuff like that, so I'm hopeful I will like this. So yeah, that is my plan. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna read about 50 pages and give you guys a check-in and see how I feel. I really don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I know that this book is very excited. It's coming out in April, so I'm reading it a little bit early. I do have an e-arc, which is one book off my tick. And then if I get through this today, or you know, most of it today, I'll probably pick up like a contemporary that was on my TBR. So maybe I'll pick up like the Davenports or the other one from Love, Joy, Revolution. But yeah, I'm gonna go start this, and when I have some thoughts, I'll give you guys an update. Bye, Book Dragons. Hi, Book Dragons, I'm back. I just want to do a quick update. I did wind up working out a little bit. I was gonna listen to my audiobook, but I've been having some struggles with audiobooks, so I just listened to some true crime when I'm working out because I really don't need to focus on it and it's just sort of in the background. But I did wind up getting up to page 50 in Divine Rivals, and I will admit, if you told me all of these elements independently, I don't think I would love it, but as I'm reading it, the vibes work. I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of enemies to more tropes because I feel like they're never done to my satisfaction. I need a history for enemies more to be done well. Like, I just need that. But this I'm intrigued by for a couple of reasons. So it has a couple of elements that I do like. It's sort of set in a 1940s-esque society. I know it maybe not be what it is, but I get like vibes of like Agent Carter, which I love. That's one of my favorite TV shows. You follow this main character named Iris, which is actually good. I need a flower name for one of the challenges I'm doing this year, so that's great. And her brother was sent off to a war between the gods. And he's like on the forefront and he hasn't heard from her. So she's sending him what she thinks letters to him, and they're vanishing. And she assumes these letters are because they live in sort of a magical society. There's like magical houses and stuff like that that is loosely inspired by the gods. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this. But these letters are going somewhere. And she's working with someone named Kit. I love that name, Kit. If I ever have a baby one day, name would be Christopher and Kit would be a good option. But these letters are going to him, and they're like competitors. They're both being hired to be a journalist, and they're competing to be a columnist. And then it's revealed quickly that Kit is the one receiving these letters. And you also have these elements of like journalistic integrity and how where these people are living, the war isn't coming after them. Like the war isn't really directly invading their lives. And they don't want that in their papers because it's not really prevalent to them. But these people are going off to war, which is a very interesting dichotomy. I've really seen elements like that in the past year in like our current timeline, like our current world. So that's really interesting. But I love her writing style. I also love, I said this before, I love super short chapters. It's just like a me thing. I love when chapters have titles. Again, just a me thing. And I like her writing. Like her writing is very digestible. And I love gods in my stories. Like I'm waiting so patiently for Isles of the Gods by Amy Kaufman to come out. That's coming out in May, but I'm really excited for that one as well. So this will tide me over until then. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't have much to say just because I think the premise is, but you know, the thing is no god, no creature, no war can come between them. And I think there's also an element of like, you got mail, like Kit knows that he's getting letters from Iris, but Iris doesn't know that her letters are going to Kit. So it's kind of gives me tweet cute vibes, like stuff like that. But I'm really liking it so far. So, and I'm hoping the enemies to more, they seem to have history, which I do like with. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm only read about 50 pages. I'm also watching Lockwood and Co., which I'm really liking. Yeah, I'm having a good day. I'm having a good reading day. So the puppy's for a walk. I'm gonna go read another like 50 pages and then I'll give you guys an update. I'm also trying to catch up on my YouTube queue, Story of My Life. Gymnastics is on tonight. I may watch gymnastics tomorrow, but that is the plan to at least watch that as well. So yeah, I am gonna go read for a little bit, and when I have an update, I will tell you. I'm gonna try to give you guys an update in 50 pages, or just when I feel like something's happened. Oh yeah, 100 pages we get to part 2. So I will read until we get to part 2, and then I'll give you guys an update. Bye, Book Dragons. Hey friends, I'm back. I just want to give you a quick update on my reading. You're probably going to see my puppy behind me because I just finished working out and she loves attention. Hi, Miss Girlfriend. So I did want to, sorry, she's right behind my camera. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry. I know. You're very excitable. I know. I get it. Go see mommy for a second. Go see mommy for a second. No? Alright. She's going to stay here then. But I did wind up getting up to page 100 in my book. So I am liking it. I would say the world is magical, but the people in the world right now are not magical. So that is not the case that I was expecting. But the book is very interesting. I would say the world is like, it's like gods are in this world. Gods are controlling this world. There's a war between the gods. And that is pretty far away. So it has a lot of conversation about the war and like what that means. Your main character name is Iris, and her brother went away to the war and she's a reporter. Something pretty traumatic happens in the first 100 pages. I won't give it away. But she is having a somewhat magical communication with somebody that is like kind of fueling her. And then at the end of the part 1, something happens that like sends her on a different thing. So I literally read part 1. We do get both characters' point of view. I said that when I was reading it, it gives me like 1940s vibes because the women's are working, and that's like very not what I think of in the 1940s, because women do work a lot, but it seems like she's not really allowed to work. But then other elements remind me of when I read a Regency romance with like arranged marriages and stuff. So I think the world has a lot of potential, fantastical wise, but the characters aren't magical, which I think is an interesting choice. So yeah, that is my thoughts. I don't think I did a very good job explaining, but we're going to change the game a bit in the next section. So the next 2 is like she travels, she goes somewhere else, and the characters are not going to be in the same location, which is going to build the hate to more romance. I will say that. But yeah, a lot happened in this 100 pages, but it's very much like a quiet read. They do talk a lot about war. Both characters are dealing with stuff. You know, our main character, our female character, her brother's away at the war, and we just got a secret about the male character. And it's a very, very rich read. Very, very rich. I'm really, really liking it though. I'm going to give you guys an update when I read about maybe like 50, maybe when I get to the next part. I don't know when that is. I can't think when I'm on part 3. Let's see. maybe when I get up to page like 200, I'll give you an update, or maybe 150. I don't know. I'm gonna give you an update when I get to 150. So that is the plan, at least for the moment. I will give you guys an update, and I'll touch you guys in a little bit. Bye, Book Dragons. Hey friends, I'm back. I just want to do a bit of an update and also a bit of a direction for this vlog because I finally do have one, which is good. But today's my last day off before I go back to work tomorrow, so I'm trying to get some reading done. I also did finish Lockwood & Co. on Netflix, so now I'm focusing on The Golden Compass on HBO because I really wanted to watch that like a very, very long time ago, and then I just forgot about it. So I'm trying to do one like current show and then one show that I forgot about. So that will be the one I'm watching now. It will probably take me a bit because it's 2 seasons. But I did want to say that I wanted up getting up to page 154 in Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I will admit, this is not what I thought it was going to be, but I don't mean that doesn't mean that it's like bad. It definitely gives me like historical fiction vibes. I will say that. But there is like, there's a war between the gods and she's like involved in it. So that's happening like in the backdrop. So it's almost like when we're having a war, like it doesn't really affect your everyday life, but like the impact of it does, because her brother is off at war. She's working at like a newspaper, but she winds up leaving for some extenuating circumstances, and then she's having a magical connection with this guy. Like they both have these same typewriters, I guess, and that's how they're communicating. I'm liking it. It's definitely not what it's giving me like, I don't know, it's giving me like Notebook vibes, or like when I read The Lovely War, it's giving me like very like long distance, like across time and space, because the male character knows who Iris is, but Iris doesn't know who the male character is. So there's very like You Got Mail. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's what I expected. I think the world is very magical, but our characters don't have magic, which I don't always love in a book, but I'm intrigued. Like, it definitely is reading more like a Regency romance with like a 1940s vibes, like an Agent Carter vibes, because there is like the publishing industry, there is stuff like that. Both the characters are dealing with a lot of grief. They both are dealing with stuff. It's just like a very interesting story. It does deal a lot with war and wartime and like grief and stuff like that. My goal is to finish this today. I don't know if that's going to be like able to occur, but it's my goal. And then for the rest of this reading vlog, I'm on 2 blog tours, so I don't want to like, what happened last year was I got on all these blog tours and then I was stressed to read them. So I'm going to focus this week on reading all my blog tour books, or at least this vlog. So the 2 physical books that I have currently that I need to read is Luca of the Night Forest by Taylor K. Mejia. This comes out in March, the end of March. I got this at YALLFest, and I am excited. I really have enjoyed her Paulo Santiago series from Rick Riordan Presents, and this, again, is another God-themed novel. And I also have to read Queen Bee by Amelia Howard, and this is book 2 in the Joy Revolution series. So yeah, these are going to be my goal books. I also am expecting a couple of more arcs. I'm expecting Silver in the Bone and my Caitlin Hill book. So if those come in this week, I might just read them as well, just to get them over with. Silver in the Bone, I think, is probably going to be like a dedicated reading vlog because I've been waiting for that for like 2 years. And I also know I don't want to read it. I'm like, again, because I'm heading up to like show, like this is the week that we're really like starting rehearsals and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get rid of all my commitment books until then. And then if some by chance I get an arc of Isle of the Gods by Amy Kaufman, I will probably make that a dedicated reading vlog. I definitely would love to hope to read that before May, but it's all just like luck and stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna go read another 50 pages of this and sort of see where I'm at. I think when does part 3 occur? Part 3 is like, part 3. When I get to page 207, I'll give you guys an update, because that's like when we start part 3. I'm enjoying it. It's not what I expected, but that's not like a bad thing. It's just not what I was expecting. So yeah, I'm gonna go read another 50 pages of this, watch a little bit more of The Golden Compass, and I'll give you guys an update when I can. Bye, Book Dragons. I see my puppy. Oh, hi. Cassie says hi too. Good girl. You wanna say hi? Wanna say hi to the camera? Oh, say hi to the camera. Oh, thank you, puppy. Thank you. Bye. Hey friends, I'm back. I didn't get a ton of reading done today, but that's okay. I did wind up listening to a little bit of my Deanna Rayburn book, which I'll just talk about in my wrap up. I took the puppet for a walk. It was actually like a really nice day. We had some very, very like inconsistent weather this week. I also did watch the first episode of His Dark Materials, But I feel like I'm going to put that on pause for a second because I really do want to go back and reread The Golden Compass because I read that when I was like in elementary, so like in probably like middle school, so it's been a bit, and then I never progressed. And I think it's 3 seasons, and I think that every book follows a book. I could be wrong, but that's at least the impression that I got when I was looking into it. So I think I'm going to take a pause of that. Now I'm watching The Worst Witch, which I'm really liking. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the 3rd season or the 4th season when like we lose Bella Ramsey, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm still reading Divine Rivals. I got to part 3, which is like 212 pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely less magic-y and more like Regency romance, but like set in the 1940s. There is a lot of stuff about grief and jobs. There is also a massive like you got mail plot, but only one of the characters knows who they're talking to, which I think that's gonna cause a big fight. I just can spy miscommunication like a mile away. But it is the first book in a series, so I'm intrigued by that. I'm curious if the God War is going to become more prevalent because we keep hearing about like these creatures and we see them like in this environment that they're in. They're becoming a bit more prevalent, but it's really not. I would say this is more like a magical world and not a magical story. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely going to keep reading. My goal is to get up to page 250 and just see how long that takes me. Like, oh, or maybe 260. I don't know if there's another part in this. I was trying to read it to parts, but I can't see right now. So maybe I'll do like when I get to page 250 and just see like how I'm feeling. I am liking it. It's not a book that's like, the plot isn't progressing me forward. I will say that. Like, the plot is a little bit lackluster just because like the 2 characters are like writing stories about the war, so they're like basically like journalists, but that's really, there's no like plot. They're not involved in the war. So normally when you read a war-based story, there's one point of view that is like a journalist and there's one that's a soldier, but that's not the case in this, which I'm intrigued by. It's just not like, I'm more liking the characters, and I have said I'm very much a plot focused, like I love characters and I like it, but you got to give me a bit of plot. So there is elements of plot, but it's definitely not a plot forward book. So I'll give you guys my thoughts at the very, very end, like how I feel. Right now I would say it's probably going to be like a 3.5 star read because the characters are really, really compelling. The story's a little bit meandering at points because I don't know, like, other than like, I get the romance element. Like, she's talking to this person, she doesn't know who it is. I get that, but there's really, I don't know, like I guess maybe giving information to the public, which is interesting. So maybe that's the thing. But I just feel like I don't know what's gonna happen. I guess that's sort of what I'm saying. But we're going to a different part, so maybe it will change. Every part, the setting has changed a little bit, so I'll be curious to see how that progresses. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna go get some dinner, watch a little bit more of The Worst Witch, and I'll update you guys when I can. And yeah, sorry for the weird update. This is a hard book to explain. I will say that. Like, it is a little bit hard to explain. So yeah, that is my thoughts. Also, The Last of Us comes out tonight. Time-wise, I don't know if I'm going to watch it tonight or I'm going to watch it tomorrow when I come home from work. I also have reading sprints tomorrow, so it will get watched probably before next week. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. All right, I'm going to go get some dinner, and I'll talk to you guys when I have an update for Divine Rivals and just enjoy my last couple hours off before I have to go back to work tomorrow. So we're taking it one moment at a time, friends. All right, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye, bye, Book Dragons. Dragons, I'm back. I feel like today was a long day. It was the first day back from break, which is never easy, especially when you've had like a week off. But we're also expecting like a massive snowstorm, and I commute. I live like an hour from my job, so I live on Long Island and I teach in Astoria, and normally it's a pretty nice commute. I don't actually mind it that much, but in snowy and inclement weather, it just becomes a bit of a disaster. Also today they finally, well, they switched over like all our transportation, like the times tables, to like get out of Long Island and to Long Island, and that made my commute a bit stressful just because I like everything to go according to my plan. It didn't go according to my plan. I get a little bit anxious because I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I just want to finishing Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I don't think this was the book that I should have been reading. I'll tell you why. It is a war-based story loosely. It's a war between the gods, but you really don't get anything magic in this whole story. The only magic element you do is you hear about this war between the gods. So that's like loosely embedded, and I will say the first maybe like 160 pages I was intrigued by because it had some like war correspondent elements. There was like a little mystery about her brother that I was intrigued by. The romance was fun, like I liked it. I almost wonder if I would have liked this better as an audiobook. But once we got to like the last 200 pages, the pace just died. And I think that's just because I'm not a war reader. Like, I don't like those stories, and that became really prevalent in the second half of the story in some elements, and it just lost me. And at that point, I just didn't really care. I really have liked Rebecca Ross's other books, but I think this book was pitched to me as more like magical, and it just wasn't. So it was a bit of a letdown, a bit of a disappointment. Not a bad book. I think if you like war stories, if you like 1920s stories, or like 1940s or 1930s with war, you should pick this up. It does have a magic tint to it. I wouldn't say it's magical. The world is magical. There are gods, but it doesn't really affect their everyday life. So I would give this 3 stars. Definitely not a new favorite. So I am going to try to read Lucha and the Night of the Night Forest by Talia K. Mejia. This is a magical story, I hope. That's what I'm hoping. It says in the back, a scorned guard, a forgetting drug in a dangerous forest. One girl caught between the freedom she was in one and the sister she can't bear to believe behind. So yeah, I'm gonna read this and see how I feel. And if I really am struggling and I feel like I need something else, I'm gonna pick up Queen Bee, which I know doesn't have any magic. But again, I really wanted a fantasy book, like a pure fantasy book, and I just didn't get it. So I'm gonna start Lucha of the Night Forest, read about 50 pages. I'm going on sprints in like a little bit. So I'll try to read this during that. And then if I find like I'm really struggling, I'm gonna go off my TBR a little bit and try to find a fantasy book that I can read for this. But yeah, I have to do this for a blog tour anyway, so it will get read. And yeah. So I'm excited, I'm intrigued. I just want a bit more magic, and I didn't really get that in Divine Rivals. I think that's where I was struggling. So yeah, tomorrow might be a snow day. We'll see. It's not really a snow day if they do call it, because like we'll still be teaching, but like unless I just stay home and I don't go to work, we'll see. But I'm gonna go start this, read about 50 pages, go to my sprints, and then I'm gonna rewatch The Last of Us because I watched it like falling asleep last night, but it was really, really good. And I feel like if I rewatch it, I will probably cry, which is not how you want to end your day. But yeah, so I'm gonna go read about 50 pages of this, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye, Book Dragons. Hopefully I like it more than Divine Rivals. I just will say that this book was fine. It just wasn't for me. I struggle with war-based stories, but you might like it. So just wanted to put that out there. If this book didn't work for me, it's coming out in April, but it may work for you. So keep it on your radar if you're intrigued at all. Bye, Book Dragons. I'm back. I didn't wind up updating yesterday, and I probably wasn't going to update today, but I decided that I did want to update. It is March 1st. I am still reading, actually I am reading Lucha of the Night Forest by Talia K. Mejia. I did pick this book up because I do have an e-arc and I am on a blog tour a little bit later in the month, but I like to get all my required reads done so I can mood read as much as I can. And I have like 4 required reads that I have to read early in the month. One I'm like so excited for. It's Alexandra Bracken's new book. But this one's very different. When I was reading Divine Rivals, I wanted a bit more fantasy. This is giving me my fantasy vibes, and it's also like set in a forest, which gives me spring vibes. But definitely anything I read by Talia K. Mejia always does deal with harder topics. But you basically follow this girl named Lucha, and she is living inside of a dangerous situation. She lives in this community where there's a drug that sort of makes people like lose their mind, and it sort of, I think it's like an allegory for like actual drugs in like our world and how it could like really isolate people and put them on a really, really dark path. And she's very, very protective of her sister, but she has to do a lot of things to make sure that her and her family are safe, especially her sister and her mom. But I would say I'm about like 86 pages into it. I'm really liking it. It's a very, very quick writing style that deals with quite harder topics, but I am really, really liking it. My goal is to get to 150. But yeah, this week is a bit crazy at work because I have to catch up on grading. I have to start really prepping for Alice and start doing a bunch of stuff. And as much as I like that stuff's so fun to me, I just need more hours in a day to like do everything for my actual job and then do the stuff for the show. So yeah, that is where my thoughts are right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go read a little bit more of this, try to catch up on my YouTube queue because today was March 1st, so like everyone was posting their TBRs and I want to watch them all. But yeah, I'm gonna go read about another 50 pages of this, and then I'll give you guys another update because I feel like I've been reading it for like a day, but like I feel like I haven't made a lot of progress on it, so I don't really have that many thoughts. Just that it is a harder read and does deal with harder topics. So, but what a fantastical twist. So, let's talk to you guys in a bit. Bye, Book Dragons. I'm back. It is Saturday, but I really felt like I didn't do anything this weekend so far. It's been a very, very busy and a little bit of a chaotic week, I'll say that. Today was grading week. I had to do a lot of grading and I didn't get everything done. I normally hate to bring work home. Like, I just don't like it. It feels like it jumbles up my whole week. But because we're in Alice in Wonderland season for my school and I have to do a lot of projects there, those projects really aren't like movable. So I have to make some time at school to do those projects. So that's where we are. I did want to say that I wound up finishing 2 audiobooks this week that weren't connected to this vlog, but I did wind up finishing The Spare by Prince Harry. And I wound up finishing Harry Potter 2, which I'm doing for a read along with MuggleNet and MuggleCast. So I did wind up getting up to page 248 in Luca of the Night Forest. I have been making steady progress. It just hasn't been as fast as I wanted it to. I am liking this book. I don't think I love Taylor K. Mejia's writing style. But again, this book, like I said in my other update, kind of deals with like harder topics like drug abuse and stuff like that. And like, it is very connected to the forest, so I'm loving the forest mythology of this story. But basically this whole story is she's trying to protect her sister from this forest and she's going on an adventure to save the day, and she's teaming up with somebody to sort of get rid of the plant-based drug that's causing so much problem in her life, and she is now being like captured. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I got to page 250. I really haven't worked out the whole second half of this week, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of a reading break. I also got my arcs of Silver in the Bone, and more importantly, because I've got on a blog tour for Silver in the Bone, but Isles of the Gods by Amy Kaufman. I'll be really honest, I really just want to drop whatever I'm doing and do my Isles of the God reading vlog, and I might. That book doesn't come out till May though. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to read one more book this weekend. I think I'm gonna read, I don't know, we're gonna see how I feel. But I definitely think I can finish this book tonight. I have like 50 videos to watch on my YouTube queue, which is a lot, and I made it a goal myself this year that I wouldn't get myself above 50 videos because then I like can't catch up. So what I think I'm gonna do, because my dad is home right now. He's actually taking the puppy for a walk. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna do a quick 30-minute workout. I'm gonna listen to one of my last podcasts that I wanted to re-listen to before I read Isle of the Gods. That, if you don't know, is Kate J. Armstrong and Amy Kaufman's their dual podcast that they're working on together. And I do want to reread Nightbirds, which is Kate's book, because I read it like in October and I feel like I want to reread it, but I want to wait to get my physical copy of that. So I don't know what I'm going to start with. I think I might start Isles. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go work out, and then I'll update you guys about Luke in the Night Forest when I make some significant progress. I'll probably give you guys an update when I get up to page 200 or 300, I would say. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah, I'm trying to be better at updating this vlog during the week, but it's just so busy. And there was a lot of train issues this week because they had a new schedule. Sorry for my rant, but I also know this vlog is going to be super short. So, all right, I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to try to plan this week a little bit better because I didn't do that last week. Also, it's the week from coming back from break, so there was a lot of stuff happening. But we're on the mend. We're doing better. I feel really dehydrated because I didn't drink a ton of water last night and I stayed up really, really late. So yeah, I'm going to go work out, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page 300 and see if my feelings have changed. I do like this, and I think that this is more fantasy that I was looking for, because when I read Divine Rivals, I didn't see any of that. So this is good. I also watched Cassidy's Realmathon vlog. Realmathon announcement. I'm really excited to be participating. I'm going to be Team Fantasy, which I'm super excited for. So yeah, I'm going to go work out while everyone is home. I'm going to have to watch the puppy later. And then I'll give you guys an update when I make my 50-page mark, and I'll also give you guys some video updates. I don't know if I'm going to choose a show this weekend to watch because I'm starting so late. Like, I literally lost the whole morning. Like, I had to create a test for my students. I had to grade all day yesterday. I had to input all my grades. So it was a very, very busy week. And I know my kids are going to hand in stuff Monday, so I just wanted to have a nice baseline in case, like, they all decide that they're going to do their work that they haven't done for about 2 months. So, but you can never tell with middle school kids. We'll see. if you're watching, you go turn in your homework assignments, but alas. So yeah, I'm gonna go work out, and then I will give you guys an update when I read about 50 more pages of this, and then hopefully we'll have a decision. I'm going to post a question in my story. Should I deviate from my reading blog and read Isles of the Gods, or should I keep going with my reading blog? We'll see what they say. Bye, book dragons. It's a little bit later, but I did wind up reading my 50 pages in Luca of the Night Forest by Taylor K. Mejia. This is another book that I'm enjoying, but I'm just not loving, and I think it has a very similar writing style to her Palo Santiago series, which I struggled with a little bit, but I do like it. It does have a nice diversity. It does deal with a lot of harder topics. I do like the setting. I do like the elements of the gods being represented. I'm just not feeling super connected to the writing style, and I think that's because it has some weird pacing issues throughout this whole book. Like sometimes I feel like it's going too fast, sometimes I'm feeling it goes slow. So the pacing is definitely weakest. But there's a lot happening in this story, and I feel like some things get brushed over, so you like lose a couple of things. But I am enjoying it. I'm gonna probably wrap it up. I do like the relationships at the heart of this read, and I also like the sister dynamic as well. But I just feel like stuff gets like thrown by the wayside a little bit at the story, so which is sort of how I felt at the end of Palo Santiago. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it though. It's a great read. Very, very diverse. Definitely deals with harder topics. Definitely has a real world connection. So yeah, I'm gonna go read the last 50 pages, and then I'll give you guys a check-in, and then we'll wrap up this reading vlog. I actually have more footage than I thought. A lot more for Divine Rivals, which was also in this vlog. And then we'll pick a new book to start in a new vlog. I'm going to choose the 3 of my favorites that I really do want to read. So we're going to make that like my top, what I think well, we'll talk about that then. But let me go finish this, and then we'll chat later. Bye, book dragons. Friends, I'm back for a quick update because I did wind up finishing Luca of the Night Forest. I think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I'm gonna put it through my spreadsheet. It might be like a 3.5. But I have to admit, the last part of this book really sort of surprised me. And if you are an Avengers fan, like if you're an Endgame fan, if you watched all the Marvel movies, the end of this book gave me Endgame vibes in some aspects. Which was really, really cool. I enjoyed it. I think the diversity in this, I don't know if this is a standalone or book 1 in a new series. I'm really unsure. But Taylor K. Mejia always does deal with harder topics. So there was definitely like, even though this is a fantastical world with like a forest and everything, there was also like other elements that were done very, very well, which I really, really liked. There is a lot of drug talk. There's also like parent abandonment and stuff like that. But I really like the setting and like the dynamic between her and her sister. I will say some of the plot points felt a little bit disjointed throughout the whole read, but overall I really liked it, and I gave it 4 stars. I also, in this vlog, I finished reading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which I gave 3 stars. I think I probably prefer this one a little bit more. But yeah, that is where I'm gonna wrap up this reading vlog. Let me know in the comments if you've read some new releases recently. I would love to know, and I'll talk to you guys for my next vlog. Bye, book dragons.